And this is the first time in Pioneers history that we've brought our own edition of the show to Pioneers. So let's have a clap for that. Let's have a clap for that, us doing something new as Pioneers. And alongside our friends at the For Game Changers Festival, we really want to bring this show home to you. There are some great prizes awaiting our 5 pitchers who are coming up, including being on TV. Now, how amazing is that? And as we get into it, we're going to be thinking about the overall winner of the session because that's the person who wins the chance to be on TV. So that's amazing. So let's take a look at a video to remind ourselves of the show.
Man kann die Dinge immer nur von einer Seite aus betrachten. Der größte Fehler ist es zu glauben, wo ein Wille ist, da ist auch ein Weg. Vielmehr sollte es heißen, wer Visionen hat, der soll zum Arzt gehen. Lach sie aus, wenn sie sagen, tanz aus der Reihe. Denk dir lieber, ein guter Mensch geht den Weg, der ihm bestimmt ist. Selten so was Dummes gehört wie, lass deine Visionen leuchten, lass deine Ideen wachsen. Change the game. Das ist Humbug. Nur nichts riskieren. Hör nicht drauf, wenn es heißt, es gibt jemanden, der an deine Ideen glaubt.
Andererseits,
es gibt jemanden, der an deine Ideen glaubt. Hör nicht drauf, wenn es heißt, nur nichts riskieren. Das ist Humbug. Change the game. Lass deine Ideen wachsen. Lass deine Visionen leuchten. Selten so was Dummes gehört wie, ein guter Mensch geht den Weg, der ihm bestimmt ist. Denk dir lieber, tanz aus der Reihe. Lach sie aus, wenn sie sagen, wer Visionen hat, der soll zum Arzt gehen. Vielmehr sollte es heißen, wo ein Wille ist, da ist auch ein Weg. Der größte Fehler ist es zu glauben, man kann die Dinge immer nur von einer Seite aus betrachten.
To our host for this session, please give a huge round of applause for Denise Krautz. Let's keep that applause going.
Welcome, Pioneers and Game Changers. So it's such a great energy level here in the room. So I'm sure that we can hold this level. And yeah, as mentioned, my name is Denise Krautz, and I'm so honored to host this pitch session because some weeks ago our festival, the For Game Changers Festival, took place, and it took place together in cooperation with Pioneers. So Pioneers was also a guest at our festival, and now we are here at this festival. And it is combining 2 great things and make them together greater. So, what is it about? It's a 2 million and 2 minutes session, so 2 Minuten, 2 Millionen, and it is a special edition related to Pioneers. So we have 3 minutes of presentation, so we changed slightly the conditions, and 4 minutes of Q&A. And who will ask the questions? So we have a great jury, and give a big applause to Nina Kaiser, co-founder of For Game Changers Festival. Michael Albrechter from Startup 300. Daniel Zech, head of 7 Ventures. And last but not least, Oliver Holle, CEO from Speed Invest. We will start with our first startup. And I have a question for you. Somebody is having a cat or a dog at home. Pets? Are there a lot of hands raising up? I have a sausage dog. He is very loved in our hotel at home. And we all want our pets to be healthy. And the upcoming startup right now, they have a great solution to take care of the health of our pets. So give a great applause to Luca from Animal Cell.
Hi, my name is Luca, and I come from a company called Animal Cell, where we are evolving veterinary medicine from business of healing to business of regenerating. Pets have become, like we were nicely introduced, more than just pets. They have become our friends, our family members. I have Lucy, and she's the whole life for me. When she's jumping around, that's her life for her. But unfortunately, what happens to 30% of all dogs is that they get affected by joint and ligament problems that kill cells inside their joints, cause inflammation, and sooner or later affects them so much that they cannot even go to the toilet by themselves. There is so much pain involved. Currently, veterinarians can help them with painkillers in the early stages, which are costly and don't do much than just mask the pain as an overlying symptom, but do not affect the underlying disease. And as the disease goes on, what happens is in the later stages, the veterinarians have to do, again, costly operations, surgical operations, that also take a long time to rehabilitate from. It's a big market. The pets are growing in our hearts, but also around Europe. It's around 70 million pet-owning households currently. And if 30% are affected, around 18 million dogs are affected with osteoarthritis right now, seeking for help with the veterinarians as they are really being humanized in our eyes. What we do is we use stem cells that are not just there at the birth, but also when the dogs grow old. We can find them inside their fat tissue, and we get them out. The veterinarian anywhere in Europe can take them out just beneath the skin as a fat tissue sample. We get that fat tissue sample, get out of that fat tissue sample around 1,000 stem cells, capable of turning also into cartilage, and we multiply it from several million to up to several million cells that are then applied by the same veterinarian back into the knee. And already with 2 visits, we get a long-term effect with the therapy. Why now? We know it's safe and efficient. And while everybody else is moving toward human medicine applications, we are developing veterinary medicine. This is our lab, where we are already serving more than 80 veterinary clinics around Europe. And we help more than 700 now patients like Bella, because things are developing quite fastly. The therapy costs around €700 for the veterinarian for one joint, and the storage for the owner is around €100 per annually, because we can also store those cells. We're growing. In 2016, we received a business angel investment, and since then, we have been using that to really develop the market. Before that, we developed the therapy. This is the team that does it. It's a well-experienced team on one side, and a young team really working with the feedback that we get from the veterinarians and the owners to develop the therapy further. We're asking you, investors, to help us in joining our growth and develop more therapies on the existing network and push with the marketing on the existing network to sell the therapy further. Thank you.
So you have 50 million or 55 million as a target market size?
Yeah.
That's really, really small.
Yeah.
It's super small. So how can you make this bigger? Otherwise, we would not be interested.
So this is currently only the osteoarthritis that we are addressing with. With the same therapy can be applied to also asthma patients like horses. And this is talking about just dogs. I mentioned right now the horses as well. We can use the same therapy. They're just a new market on a whole other level as well. And it can go up to several folds of that money.
Where do you produce this kind of medicine?
Currently, we're operating out of a laboratory in Ljubljana, where we can serve basically the whole Europe, because we developed the whole therapy in a way that the shipments going in with the fat tissue and the cells going out can be delivered in 48 hours. And working together with DHL currently, we're already serving 80 veterinary clinics in Germany, Austria, UK, Croatia, offering that to different cities, Frankfurt, already now being sold totally commercially.
So it's certified, or which certifications do you need, and do you have them for European countries?
So currently we do have a certified laboratory, but as a marketing approval, it's not necessarily yet, because the guidelines for the therapy are not yet set for the European Union. We are working together with the European Medicine Agency to get those guidelines, and as soon as the guidelines will be out, we will also market it.
So does it mean this is now a pilot, or you sell already your medicine and you don't have the full certification?
Yeah, we can sell it already. However, working on it, that when it's going to be certified as well, we can, because currently it's like a transplantation considered, and we can do it with the certification that we have. But it's not authorized as a medicine yet. It doesn't have to be.
And how complicated or how long does it take? So if I order your product,
yeah,
you will have to come with a dog to some clinic, right? And then the stem cells get off, and then I have to wait for weeks, days, and how complicated for you is it to produce the medicine?
So on the side of you as an owner, it's quite simple. The owner gets to the clinic, gets diagnosed, takes the veterinarian takes the sample, and in 2 weeks, basically, he comes back and gets the injection ready. Because in 2 weeks' time, we get enough cells out. Of course, the procedure is not simple, so that it can be just done by anybody, but it's again not that complicated. Also in terms of scalability, in terms of production, more or less, yeah.
And it's a painkiller. You don't heal the pet, right?
It does both. So what the stem cells do once you put them inside the joint, they're working like a pharmaceutical factory. They're producing pain elevation molecules, and on the other side they also turn into cartilage to some extent. So you don't get a full new joint, but what you get is usually, and what we also showed in our clinical study, is that you halt the disease at some level.
Go to market through veterinarian hospitals is probably super difficult, I would think. I mean, at least that's in health overall a problem if you have to go through clinics. Yeah. Any idea how you can go direct? Any idea how you can actually make this a real online digital case versus a laboratory with some relationships?
Yeah, so as you have seen our sort of a hockey stick there, it was quite a long lag time, right? And it was due to the fact that it's quite hard to get into the clinics. But we have got first into opinion leaders. So we got 80 dose of clinics with opinion leaders around Europe. And we already have set now the network. We're now using the full potential also to push the owners towards those clinics. And we're already doing that with the marketing plan.
So then, thank you so much, because I'm quite a tough timekeeper. So give a hand to Luca. Eat the right things. Find the perfect fitness routine. Not that easy, or? Take care of your body, do always the right things. There are times where that is really, really tricky. And the next upcoming startup is having the answer of that situation in our life. So a big applause for Sergey from Atlas Biomed.
Hi everyone, my name is Sergey. The company is called Atlas. We're on the informal mission to collect all your saliva and all your poo, well, ideally from every one of you in this room. That's kind of an informal part of the mission, but actually what we do is we're trying to make medicine proactive rather than reactive. So the way we do it is we're creating what we call an ecosystem of preventative medicine. So we have 2 tests that we offer online, a DNA test and a microbiome test. So, have you heard about microbiome before? Oh, yeah, we got 2 people. So microbiome is a set of your bacteria in your gut And by analyzing this, can you hold this for a second? By actually collecting, by collecting stool samples, we're able to analyze the bacteria in your gut. And by sequencing that, tell you how that affects your health. Sorry, I'm good. Your nutrition and what you can eat to actually improve the balance of your gut bacteria. So the way the test works is very simple. You order them online, you get them delivered, and what you get in the end is a report with all detailed recommendations. I'm just gonna go to the business model. So the business model is that we sell directly to the consumers. We also sell through the hospitals. Today we sold more than 20,000 kits. And also an important part is we work with large nutrition and pharma companies by doing research with them. We got a really nice team of scientists, bioinformaticians, doctors, experts in human genetics, microbiome research, as well as in really international scientific advisory board, which is made of very famous scientists. We are altogether about 60 people that has been working on this for like 5 years. And in terms of what we have achieved is we've been around on the market for about 20 months. We've raised $8 million. We've just recently launched in Germany and Austria in a fully localized products, like probably one of the very first companies to introduce this kind of testing in Germany. And we've received some really nice awards and really prestigious ones, including the Entrepreneurial Company of the Year by Frost & Sullivan in the direct-to-consumer genetic testing. So we really believe that one day there will be time when the patient will say, I'm not an ordinary patient, I'm very unique, and I really want you to understand what I am before you prescribe to me whatever you want me to get prescribed. So microbiome and DNA is one of the very important pieces of this puzzle, and we're very happy to be bringing these technologies to the consumer hands. And thank you very much.
Do you have some scientific studies which you have published somewhere in some scientific magazines or something else like that? Because we had some experience with such a product in the past sometimes.
Yeah, of course, the team has hundreds of published papers in microbiome and genetics and bioinformatics, myself as well. We did a lot of studies that we are actually publishing very actively as a company. So we did we're doing a lot of cohort studies, for example, that can show how different types of foods or probiotic can actually affect people's gut, or even by how changing your diet can affect your gut. So we got lots of these papers published in peer-reviewed journals, yes. And microbiome is, it's one of the tools to monitor how all these things and all our surroundings affect us. So yeah, we do have lots of these papers.
So it was very clear how your process works in collecting the data. It was for me less clear what the customer or the patient actually gets out of it. What is the exact use cases that you're actually helping them with that data?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Really hard to squeeze all the results into one monitor. But basically, we're really kind of health and nutrition focused company. So it is, if you do the microbiome test, what you will get is we'll show you how that bacteria from your gut affects your health, such as inflammatory or chronic conditions, such as Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, type 2 diabetes, obesity, but also how that microbiome of yours is able to synthesize important micronutrients, like butyrate or vitamins, as well as how diverse that is, because the diversity is a very key component for your bacterial community. But as well as you will get the suggestions on what types of foods containing specific fibers you should eat in order to improve the balance of your gut bacteria. So we're trying to make this testing and the whole system actionable rather than just kind of informational.
One more question is there any way to do this in a home lab environment? Have you been thinking about this? We had also experience in investing in this, so to say, sending, receiving with all the time lags and the associated difficulties. So home labs seem to be the way to go nowadays. Is this something you can do with this, or?
Well, I think in the future we might have something like a smart toilets, that analyze all your stool samples as they go. That's not where we are right now, actually, because I mean the sequencing part itself, if you look at the, from the lab perspective, takes about a week at minimum, to extract the DNA, to amplify it, and then properly sequence that. It's a time-consuming process which requires a lot of bulky equipment that's really hard to fit in the home surrounding. For now, it doesn't mean we might not get this in the future. So hopefully this is where we're going.
It was a little hard to get your value chain and what's actually new in your product. The DNA test is something you buy. This is nothing you have developed, right? So you send the samples to some genetic laboratory. So there's the value chain for you is collecting something from the customer. You have then developed your own second test. This is your own development, right?
No, both our tests are actually our own. So we do use outsourced lab for both tests. So
you developed your own DNA test?
Yes, we did, yeah. That is correct.
So you have a laboratory undergoing DNA tests?
No, we're using outsourced lab, but the proprietary technology, to interpret the raw data from the lab, because what lab gives you is what's called the raw data. It's basically like nucleotides that were read from the DNA, like A, T, T, G, G, C. So there's no way a consumer can interpret that. So starting from that raw data and to the consumer report, that's the proprietary part of the system.
And why do you combine those two tests? Could you survive economically with one test as well?
Yes, we could, but this is the whole concept of the company is actually because this is like a big puzzle, and the DNA and microbiome are different pieces of this puzzle. If you want to make accurate predictions for diseases, you need to have both, actually, and more than that, actually.
Great, Sergey.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Your eyes are the window to your soul. But the next startup is saying that your eyes are the window to your body. So give it up for Julio and DI.
Hello everybody, I'm Julio from DI SRL. So in DI we believe in a world where healthcare and prevention are available everywhere and for everyone. To do so, we develop smartphone-based medical devices, cheaper than the traditional one. Nowadays, 285 million people in the world suffer from vision loss. 80% of them are caused by diseases that are preventable or curable. So we came up with a question: why do they go blind? To answer the question, we needed to investigate the retina. The retina is that part of the body that contains a huge amount of information about our health. But we needed something affordable, something that you have in your pocket, the smartphone. So we took the smartphone, the optics from the traditional ophthalmoscope, the connection of the smartphone, and the image processing of the fundus camera, and we created the DI. The DI is a digital ophthalmoscope that costs around 395 euros, and it is certificated with both FDA and CE, so we can sell all over the world. In these 2 years, 60,000 examinations have been made all over the world, and many clinical papers have been published. 2 of them last year were published in Nature, one of the most prestigious scientific journals. Now we are switching to the services market, and focusing on the glaucoma. Glaucoma is that disease that is caused by an higher pressure of the eye. 10% of the people over 60 years old have glaucoma, and 50% of them doesn't know to have it. So a huge market where prevention is the most important thing. On the other side, we are developing our image processing stitching and AI automatic detection for diseases that can affect the optic disc, like glaucoma and papilledema. So with these kind of services, telemedicine, diagnostic referrals, and pathology automatic recognition, we are aiming to develop the big data mining. Thank you very much.
So, one question. That was fast. Okay, 5 points. Anyway, obviously it's very fascinating to put this on top of a smartphone. Now, the most leverage you would get if actually a consumer would then be able to work with it because they own the smartphone, not the doctors. Is this a use case that you're facilitating, or is it this putting in the hands of the doctor who then does the diagnosis?
Sure. So we are addressing all medical stuff because it's a medical device, certificated as a medical device, so only medical staff can use it, and nowadays only them can understand what's going on. So this is the main topic. This is a portable device, so nowadays people go to the specialist, to eye specialist that has bulky tools like the fundus camera that costs around 30,000 euros. Now, with this type of technology, it is available for all medical staff.
All medical staff of eye doctors, right?
No, just pediatricians, also neurologists, nurses, GPs.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you're actually massively expanding the addressable market in that sense of doing this kind of diagnostics.
Sure.
Okay.
This would have been the same questions. You're not replacing a system. Your target group are doctors who do not yet have more expensive medical treatments.
Sure.
And how big is the market? Did we have a figure on that? How many doctors are you addressing?
So we are addressing all the medical staffs. Is around, in Italy, around 2,000 new doctors every year. And only eye specialists around 4,000 in Italy. So being able to expand the market by also nurses and in point of care like drugstores, we can address final customers as well. So they need prevention.
Okay, coming back once again, an eye doctor typically is not your customer because they have tons of other equipments. They don't need your solution, right? Only doctors who do not yet have any device to get a picture of the retina.
Sure, they need, also I especially need
so
that
the
device.
eye doctor is not your customer, right?
Is one part of our customers because they need some portable devices.
Is it maybe designed for developed or developing countries rather than developed countries?
Sure, for humanitarian projects, but also for mass screenings in developed countries. For example, in the US, for diabetic retinopathy, one of the most dangerous pathology that can affect US people.
And the device you need, is it only then, can it only be needed for a picture of the retina? I mean, this objective, I think this could be done for other cases as well, or is it only designed to make investigation of the eye?
Yes, at the moment it's only used for eye care and without dilation drops.
It's a sort of microscope extension for your mobile,
It's
right?
a digital ophthalmoscope. The traditional one already exists. We bring the ophthalmoscope and the recording potential of the smartphone in another way.
Is it protected? How many products do you have sold in the last 12 months or so?
So in our story, we sold 2,000 units all over the world. So it's around 50 hospitals and universities that are currently using it. So we are partnering with international hospitals like San Raffaele in Milan and the Pediatric Hospital in Padua. That is one of the most prestigious ones in Europe.
Do you have what kind of model do you have? You just sell the hardware, or do you have a subscription plan or some sort of scalable business model behind it?
So now our business model is based on the product, so selling the product. Now switching to the service, we are creating a subscription business model.
So then, thank you very much. Big applause. From health tech to smart cities. It is a buzzword that I would say lasts some years and is always in our minds, so smart cities. And there is one startup today that is contributing to make that reality. So give it a hand to Sebastian from Geospin.
Yeah, so hello everyone. My name is Sebastian. I'm co-founder and CEO of Geospin, and I know I have only 3 minutes left. However, I would love to show you this email first. So basically it was the invitation to this event here, and the important part is marked down in that area, which you cannot see because there's the clock. But anyway, it means that well, please accept that you will be part of that event, and please send us a pitch deck by May the 2nd. And I have received that email last Thursday, and guess what? Last Thursday was May the 2nd. So it's just an example that unexpected situation occurs, and it occurs not only at Pioneers, it basically occurs at any company in the world every day. And the solution to predict such events, or basically to predict daily business, is analyzing data, right? So here's another example. Think about like a car sharing company. Of course, they operate fleets, they generate a huge amount of data. However, they need more information to really align the product to the customer. They need information about the customer, about the urban environment, about weather and stuff like that. And this is basically exactly what we do at Geospin. So we have developed a software that is what we call the GeoPrediction engine. And it basically, first of all, digitalize cities. So think about a digital twin of your city with all the crossings, with weather information, with like people densities and stuff like that. So everything is there. Then we combine it with the information of the customer and build a prediction model and make the predictions available using a very easy to use API. So you don't have to care about data cleaning anymore. You don't have to buy data. And what is most important, you don't have to hire very expensive data scientists. Plus, you don't need an additional software because you can just use our software or API and include it into your internal processes. So this is our current team, and this is what I call our real USP, because we have like a fantastic team. We have people from all over the world. We have like PhDs in bioinformatics, physics, computer science, and stuff like that. And they do the real magic. So this is what I call our USP. So for all the corporates out there, please do not invest in like data scientists. Just look for a strong partner such as Geospin. Follow these companies. So these are like some of our current customers. Yeah, then you can save a lot of money and a lot of like pain by data cleaning and data acquisition. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Again, a similar question. So I think we understand the basics, but what exactly are the benefits, what exactly are the use cases that actually your data then provides that you wouldn't get out of, I don't know, the standard tools that you can use?
Well, there's no clear answer to that. It depends on the region where you're working. If I mean, car sharing example, of course, we can predict for the next 2 hours how many cars are needed, something like that. So you can just access the model using that API, and then you can operate your fleet or something like that. If you are, let's say, in a mobility provider, you want to know how many people get into your buses or something, then you can predict that using our models, using our software. If you're an insurance company, then of course it's another use case. However, it's always the same pipeline, I would say.
But it is around velocity of people moving around in a city. That's the main use case, or is this just one?
Well, these are the main use cases because they are like super dynamic, and then you need API access like basically like every day, every second kind of, right? And the thing is not only like having the people, like counting people, but more of like the prediction of what will be happen in like 2 hours or 2 days or something like that.
How much are the cost savings if you compare your tool to a data scientist if I'm hiring him?
Well, it's pretty easy if we talk to companies and they hire like 100 people with like a salary of 100K above. So again, depends on the use case, but it can be like millions only with like one subscription, one model. In car sharing use cases, it's a bit less because car sharing do not generate a lot of profit. But
Millions, huh? Like that?
That's good. Yeah.
Would you describe as a service company, or would you say you have a product, off-the-shelf product with your software?
To be honest, right now it's not an off-the-shelf product because we need to talk to the companies and talk about the use cases and the data. However, after 4 days, first results are ready, and after at least, like at most 20 days, they can access the model and the prediction.
What's the annual revenue you can get out of one of those customers?
So basically, right now, it's between 60 and 100K per subscription, per annual subscription. However, you have a lot of like cross and upselling potential because we talk to like the companies and they have like different use cases and they have like different departments with like different questions. So you can sell like multiple licenses to only one company, which we do.
When we've seen many spatial data companies, all of them try to focus on one specific area, parking or weather, other stuff, and you're trying to do everything. Is this the way I?
Well, it's in the like last year we had like our first round. Before that, of course, you do a lot of POCs with like different companies to find like a very pain question, and then you can focus on like the marketing. Like the focusing is what we do like right now because, however, we get like answers or like companies like from different regions. They ask us, hey, can we just work together and can we just like get a model, like a prediction model. However, that's something what we have to do in the future, like focusing on like one area.
Could you describe a little bit more about the shareholder structure? Because I think you have 15 PhDs within your team or stuff.
Well, it's
so
not
how
15,
do you find
not 15 PhDs, but yeah.
15, 20 or so.
So we have like 30 people right now, but not all of them have like PhDs. And so we have 5 founders and 2 investors right now. And yeah. And the rest of the team, they do not hold any shares. So if this answers your question or...
On point, great. Thank you so much, Sebastian. When I did some research for the last startup, it sounds a little bit like science fiction to me. It's about scanning things and getting out information of it. So you have it in your hand pocket and you switch it out and then you can scan your food and you will get all the information you need. What is inside? Is it healthy? Or you can scan money and see if everything is okay with it and if you can pay and if it's fine. So I hope that this is a right introduction to the next startup because really for me, it's a little bit like we are kind of in a science fiction movie. So give a hand to the last but not least startup. It's Stratio and Jay.
Thank you very much for the intro. I think this is a perfect stage for our pitch because in 2012, Red Bull actually shoot this astronaut to the Strato and asked him to jump up from the Strato. And a year after that, we found a company, Stratio. That was actually the reason why we named the company Stratio. It felt like I have to make a rocket before I hit the Earth, and it's been about 6 to 7 years. I think we're very close to make a rocket now because we're invited to this stage. Anyway, let me start my pitch. Visible insight is very great because we can judge many things based on our insights. This is red carpet, so we feel special. This is more than white, so we feel this is very elegant. And black jeans and blue shoes make me dandy and future successful startup CEO. So our insights are very great. However, we can be fooled by the visible sights because there are a lot of counterfeit medication, there are a lot of counterfeit food and beverage, there are a lot of counterfeit brand, and the quality of the description doesn't match to the quality that they provide because our sites cannot tell everything. That's the reason why we're working on the infrared vision, and our mission is to bring the infrared vision to the mass market. This is really deep tech. There was an earlier session that deep tech is really hard, but it will bring you a lot of money because deep tech is very unique technology that nobody can provide. That's the reason why we started with the lots of investment for the first time. We started with the 8 million capital investment, and we also get lots of government grants to make the infrared sensor. That's how we started. And we are making a two product. The first one is a handheld spectroscopy. The second one is the IR camera. The first product is already launched out there, and people are buying. We sold more than 500 units so far, and our infrared vision is 20 times cheaper than our competitors, so we think we're going the right track. So these are 3 demo video. You can see all the demo video if you come to our website. We can check the quality of draw. We can see the bricks level of strawberry. We can also see whether the strings are false or the genuine. This is all based on science. So if you see the spectrum in this IR range, there are lots of information that you cannot see with your naked eyes. So IR camera or sensor is really important to see these kind of spectrum. There are few competitors out there. They claim almost the same thing like we do, but rest of the people don't make their own sensor. We make our own sensor that can actually capture the spectrum that we really need to analyze all these. We also make a camera because we also make the sensor. They cannot make a camera because they don't make a sensor. So this is already out there for the demo, and you will love to see that. Our price is, again, 20 times cheaper than our competitors. And the market size is more than $1 billion. We can tackle down this really big market with the new sensors. We filed the patents, 6 patents already been registered, and we sold our device to all these partners already. Thank you.
Again, a similar question with what Oliver raised. So what is the benefit, the problem solving of the private camera and the B2B product?
So infrared imaging is very expensive. And there are a lot of things you can do with that. For example, you can check the draw quality, you can check the food quality, you can see things beyond what you cannot see before. But it was limited because one camera itself is more than $20,000 US. So nobody can buy it, except if you are military or the large corporation. We're making everything
just to
cheap
get it
so
right,
that
we have seen the picture of the strawberry. So I take your product, light to the strawberry, and what do I get out? The strawberry is
bricks level,
chemical treated, or what is the answer?
So we make 2 devices. The first device is just a spectrum. It just see the one spot. We estimate the bricks level of that spot. But now people are saying that, oh, maybe this spot is smoother than the other spot, right? So that's the reason why we're making spectroscopy to the camera so that we can analyze.
What is a bricks level?
Sweetness level. Sweetness. Sugar content, basically, yeah.
So you're measuring the sugar content of...
We are not directly measuring sugar content, but we're estimating the sugar content through the spectroscopy, yeah. So, yeah, sorry.
Important thing one should know. So, and the other product which you apply for the mobile phone is the same application. You measure what, or what problem do you solve with the other product?
Can you say that one more time? Sorry.
Sorry for my voice. I have really bad infection. Your second product, which you apply to mobile phones, is solving which problem? You're not measuring sugar, right? With the mobile phone application.
So spectroscopy is great. There are a lot of companies working on spectroscopy. It's great product, but it only measures the spectrum of one spot. But if you look at the food or strawberry or anything like that, it's actually the area. You have to see the whole area to get the very accurate estimate. So instead of seeing one spot, we're making a camera so that we can analyze most of the part really quickly. This is great because once you see a lot of spot, you can actually apply it to a lot of supply chains or distribution channels. So that's the reason why we're moving from the spectroscopy to the camera itself. So it's basically the same concept, except we're seeing more in 1 or 2 months from now. Yeah.
Sorry for again the question. Which problem do you solve? Why shall I buy such a device for my mobile phone?
Which problem we're solving?
With your infrared camera, right?
Oh, okay. We're solving lots of problems. Really lots of problems. But the simple word, we are adding security to the supply channel. So for example, people get fooled by getting the fake Viagra, but getting fake alcohol, fake Scotch whiskey, fake Louis Vuitton, fake Prada. We can actually prevent those kind of things because it will see beyond what your naked eye can see.
Yeah, that was the question I had. So the one thing is substituting the existing technology with a much lower cost solution, right?
Correct.
That's how big is that market? Can you
Yeah,
roughly say that?
there was a slide, but
Sure.
if you invite me to your office, I will go into more details.
No,
But anyway, the market
roughly.
size itself is more than $1 billion right now.
That's already more than $1 billion. But the real market, if I understand, is actually a different one because you're actually opening up a completely new segment where you
So there are a lot of reports saying that if you lower the price by 2 times, you are actually expanding the market by 3 times. So we're not actually shrinking down the market size. We're actually we're tripling the market size by reducing the price of the camera.
So theoretically, any kind of food e-commerce shop could then guarantee the safety of their products because they would have their own infrared thing and guarantee that.
So we're working with a few restaurants for this kind of solution.
Yeah. Nina, you want to say something?
Yeah, just because you were probably wondering why I'm sitting here and not saying or asking anything. I'm, first of all, the quota lady here at this jury, and I always wanted to sit here with these guys. No, I just wanted to say I'm not capable of judging the startups, and I'm so glad that I'm not part of the 2 minutes, 2 million jury. But why am I sitting here? I'm trying to evaluate if one of these 5 startups that we just saw is a probable candidate for next year's For Game Changers Festival in one role or the other. So we probably now put our heads together and talk about that, and hopefully we tell you later on who won spots at our festival.
So,
thank you.
Perfect. Jay, you can stay on stage. You are discussing, deliberating, and I would like to call the other startups to come up on stage. And as Nina already mentioned, it's about thinking if there is a space at the For Game Changers Festival, a cooperation, but also the startups will get 2-3 days tickets. So all of you will get through 2-3 day tickets to join our festival next year. And the winner, as already mentioned at the beginning, will also get a TV spot at our For Game Changers TV program. So it's published on Puls 4, so it's an Austrian TV channel. We have a microphone, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about, because I have the soft questions, I say, because I'm not into startups and I'm not into investing, and I'm kind of an old digital native, so I like to write things down, and I'm not so kind of a techie, I have to say. So what for me is interesting, and I asked this question in my mind for all of your pitches, is what brings you to that field? Why you decided to work on that field? So maybe you can answer it in a quick way, so we get a feeling why you choose that field.
Sure. Edgar, we have a lot of health issues nowadays, so how can we help those people? Mm-hmm. Because it can be me, it can be you, so it's something that can affect us as well. So this is our main driver.
So a strong social responsibility.
Sure.
Okay, great. Sergey.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Well, I've chosen, to work in healthcare because I want to see people live longer. That's like the main reason. Not only because I want to spend more time with my loved ones, more time educating myself, more time, relaxing or entertaining, but also because I want to see people, like landing on Mars with Elon Musk, because I want to see like VR expanding and all this kind of, new tech coming in. So I figured out, the only way you can do that actually is you have to take care of your health. And if you want to live long, that's a basic rule that you need to follow. So trying to make people, care about their health is the mission that we have. So that's why I got into this.
Oh, great. Thank you. Sebastian.
Well, for me, it's like pretty easy because I did my PhD in that area. So basically, we got customers before we found the company. So, but anyway,
But there was a decision to make the PhD in that field.
Yeah,
so.
well, that's true. However, I think I don't want to be like one employee in like a very large corporate company, kind of like, it's more or less like doing your own stuff, like building up your own company. And this is something I pretty like. And this is like, besides that field and all the knowledge we got in that area, this is one of the main, let's say, drivers to like found a company.
Great. Thank you. Luca?
Yeah, it's pretty simple as well. So love for the animals. Love for the animals on one side, and the other side, maybe too much love for the animals. And on the other side, just being fascinated how things work also in biological ways. So really fascinated how a cell can be undefined and turn into cartilage cell, muscle cell, whatever, and how that can help not only animals but also human then further down the line.
To make them happy, if the pets are happy, humans are happy. Yeah, for sure, that's true. Jay,
so yes, I got a PhD, but when you write a paper in PhD, you always say that this will illustrate something like that, right?
Yeah.
And I also did a strategy consulting from BCG. When you're doing consulting at the consulting firm, you say, oh, this is so easy, you have to do this and that, right? So I don't want to be the person who just say, it promised something or do this way. I want to prove that it actually showed that. So because of that, with our research on the scientific field, we wanted to make a company out of it. So that's the reason why we all started the company. But surprisingly, it's already been 6 years. And we're not that successful yet, so we're trying really hard to be that successful.
So you mentioned being successful, and I think maybe there are some startups over here as well. Give one learning, one how to say that, one thing that is really a driver, is something that you learned, that you want the others to participate. So, in one sentence.
Maybe I should start and go.
Yeah, for sure. We go back.
So when your background is engineering and science, when you are from a university lab or PhD, you always think that market is nothing and the technology is everything. I think some of you might agree with me, but actually once we started and working on the startup, we found that technology is actually less than 1%, and everything is about collaboration and talking with people. So I would say 99% is always talking and meeting people.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it was the hardest to stay in that limbo between the vision that you have and the today that you have. So you have to make money today. You have to talk to customers, not only because it's making money, but because it's also important to customers. So that you're really filling their void, and the other side that you do keep your why ahead of you, so that you know where you're going with the grand vision of it all.
Yeah. What is the strategy? So what worked out for you to manage it?
Don't go crazy doing it.
Don't go crazy.
Don't go crazy. That's the strategy.
Cool.
Yeah,
okay.
Stay true.
Okay. So stay cool. Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's true. So, believe it or not, but building up a company is hard, and it's like harder than everybody thought. So I think you really need like a passion to do that, and you have to spend a lot of time. So, I mean, it's maybe obvious, but like, trust me, like invest all you got in that thing, and it's only possible if you have that passion. So otherwise, I mean, you can get like a good job at a company and a good salary and stuff like that. So passion and time is like the most important thing to build up a very good company, I guess.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, all good answers. I mean, in our case, what we figured out with microbiome is diversity is always good, and the more diverse is your gut bacteria, the better for general health. So I found out it's the same for the teams. So the more diverse is the expertise in the team, having scientists, doctors, but also designers and IT experts, programmers, analysts. That's extremely important. And just, take one of these pieces, and I mean, you will never build a successful product. So staying diverse, that's what I would say.
Cool. Great.
Sure, just believe in what you're doing and don't underestimate your ideas. That's the most important thing.
Great, thank you so much. So, guys, you figured out who wants to announce it? Oliver?
Well, so I'm allowed to announce the winner. First of all 5 contestants were really strong. All 5 presenters were male, which is a problem. Can't change that, but just stating. Jury as well, by the way. Anyway, so of course it's really difficult. All of these companies have really pretty deep tech angles, have quite sophisticated projects and products. From what we can say, from the first 2-3 minutes that we had, we were trying to assess the one company that could have the biggest impact, also on a global level. And that's also fresh in the sense that we haven't seen it before, that it's a new angle to health. And that's why we nominated DI as the winner.
Oh, great. Thank you. So, big applause.
Oh, what a great sound. The winner sound. You get a little trophy from the 4 Game Changers team and from Puls 4, the distributor of 2 Minutes to Million. We are very happy to see you on TV soon. We talk to you about that later in our TV format for Game Changers TV on Puls 4. And we hope we see you at the 4 Game Changers Festival next year. And like I said before, yeah, of course, all of the startups were great, and all of the startups get 2 3-day tickets to the next year's 4 Game Changers Festival. That's one prize. And the second one, I said before, I sit here to evaluate if they could play a role in that festival and could have a presence on stage or at the entertainment court. You are all great, and you are all very techy, and I don't understand that much, but I know that this is the future, and we discuss so many topics. We have healthcare, we have smart cities, and we can basically feature all of you. So what I would suggest is, I would love to talk to all of you and talk about your goals here in Austria and in Europe, and evaluate together with you what could be the perfect spot at our festival. Is it a speech? Is it a participation in a panel? Or is it even what I expect the least, in a booth at the entertainment court? So welcome to come up to me later and we talk about it, okay?
Great. So then, thank you so much. Jury, startups, enjoy it.